So what would be a good game for my first solo review? It has to be a game to wow the audience, but it also has to have a great message to it as well. Wow, that's a great idea. You okay? You're never this willing to help me. I don't know I regret this, but sure.
Just roll the clip.
Sup, I am uGamer, and this is my trusty electronic companion, Digit the U-Phone. And in case you are new here, this series would involve me reviewing a game to see whether the game should be completed, finished, gave away, or trashed. If you plan to get and play this game yourself, be aware that there will be spoilers mentioned all throughout the video. Now let's get to it. Astro Boy is everyone's favorite robot next to Mega Man. With his kick-ass skills and great personality, it's hard not to like him. Not to mention, the Astro Boy series was actually the first anime TV show ever created. The anime that started it all, and an awesome one at that too. There were two Astro Boy games released to the US in 2004 to help promote the anime reboot. The one for PS2 sucks balls, so we're not going to talk about that one. But for the one for GBA, Nintendo win this time, folks. Astro Boy Omega Factor is not only one of the best GBA games I've ever played, but one of the best games I've ever played ever. And there's a good reason too. Astro Boy Omega Factor is made up of two parts, birth and rebirth. The birth represents, well, the birth of Astro Boy and is the first part of the game. This game is a vertical beat 'em up that starts off with the death of a boy named Tobio dying in a car crash. When this happens, an unknown man who appears to be the boy's father promises to make a robot based on his son with superhuman abilities, thus resulting in the birth of Astro Boy. The plot kicks off when Dr. O'Shea, the person who looks after Astro, basically gets you to get accustomed to your skills and abilities, despite the fact that you're nowhere near full power yet, which displays the skippable tutorial secret. Now, Astro Boy may look weak, but this robot should not be taken lightly. His abilities include using his jets to reach higher places and to overcome obstacles, his mighty punch, finger lasers, his powerful kicks, his EX dash, machine gun, and arm cannon. This is a bad motherfucker right here.
Now, a very unique and amazing mechanic in the game is the Omega Factor. Hence the title.
Don't you see it? Can't you fucking read?
The Omega Factor is Astro's soul, if you will, and imprints an image of anyone he encounters on itself, rewarding Astro the option to power up any of the abilities he currently has and makes them stronger. His Omega Factor can increase his health, his strength, his laser, his shot, his jets, and his sensor. I really like this concept because he actually gets stronger the more characters he interacts with, whether they be good or bad. This forces the player to make Astro experience different opinions and ideals, thus resulting in his own growth and give him a sense of what his purpose is. Totally brilliant. After the introduction, Dr. O'Shea introduces you to his assistant, Watto, who abruptly gets kidnapped by a bunch of evil robots. Well, that escalated quickly.
Smart ass.
As you fight the first monsters at the beginning of the level, you may notice a few things. One, the graphics in this game looks absolutely amazing, with that and the great upbeat music setting the tone that lets the player know, okay, we're in the city. Also, that's the name of the stage, Metro City. Could
Can't you fucking
Be sure to remember that you can even destroy certain parts of the background. One thing you will notice while progressing through the game is the enemies you face will consist of various sizes of the same type, which takes an effect on how much health they have and things of that nature. This game shows many minor things about it that makes it quite unique, like its references to other franchises, its physics, and Astro Boy sensors making a difference in the gameplay. Actually, when I applied that you should talk to any and everyone, that didn't mean that everyone you meet will be right there in front of you waiting to start a conversation. Oh no, that would be too easy. There are some beings that are hidden in various parts of the levels you play in, just waiting to be found. This level is no exception. If you knew to destroy the background earlier, you would only have to do it again, eventually releasing the first optional character to interact with, Alejo. Explore what you can because you will never know what you'll find. I even found an Easter egg in the game totally by accident when I was younger that I still use to this day. Keep in mind that you can only gain a skill point to get stronger abilities only if you understand the characters 100%. So there are times where you will add a character to your Omega Factor and not gain a skill point. This means that you will have to talk to them again at a later time when the story wants you to. Everything gets balanced this way. You also have to know everyone fully to both get Astro Boy's abilities to the maximum and to complete the game 100%. And believe me, you would want to. After defeating the spider boss and rescuing the damsel in distress, we found out that there's an enemy making all of the robots go out of control. Defeating Magnemite results in your first encounter with your rival, named Atlas, who claims that you're nowhere near as powerful as he is and that you need to get stronger. Sounds familiar? Atlas admits that he was the one behind the whole robot incident in order to test Astro's skills. Dr. O'Shea then gets an idea of who may have created him, but we don't know for sure as of yet. Meanwhile, a shadowy figure who appears to know about Astro and Atlas' identity looks to be watching over the two for unknown reasons. So, when finally encountering Atlas and defeating the other robots along the way, he reveals that Dr. Tenma is the one responsible for creating both him and Astro with a goal to get them as strong as ever to take over the world. Atlas wants to end his never-ending sorrow by getting revenge on the world, while Astro has pretty opposite ideals. You can then tell that even though they were both created by the same person, Dr. Tenma without a doubt had different intentions when creating the two. On the way to the election of the Antarctic's first robot president, Atlas' words sink into Astro, making him feel bad for not feeling the sorrow Atlas felt. Astro feels sympathetic for the very robot that wants nothing to do but to dominate the world and wreak havoc, which says a lot about him. There has always been a feud between humans and robots, and there are many who take sides, but President Rag, a robot, wants peace and harmony between the two. Him being elected president, of course, causes an incident with an anti-robot group called the Black Looks. It's Astro to the rescue once again to make peace by kicking ass. Nuka is the ambassador's robot daughter, and she takes a liking to Astro, thus resulting in a love interest between them. Astro both showing sympathy and the side effects of love really brings out the human side to Astro, who is basically the best of both worlds. Me personally, I feel like the whole election bid has a deeper meaning to it though. You could relate this plot to just human history in general, where there are many people who wanted peace and harmony, just like President Rag, and because of that, ended up losing their life, just like Rag. You can really learn a lot from the game if you study the plot with an open mind, but I'll leave that to you guys. The sixth stage takes an unexpected turn when Astro and the others get sucked 30,000 years in the past by Shiraku, who is actually the main villain in the game. After Astro becomes victorious in battle with him, he and the others head back into the future. The war between humans and robots carried on. With the 5 most strongest robots in the world ready to finish the war victorious, Astro opposes them, which results in a battle with the group. The first one was fairly easy, but the second one was so annoying. He drops bombs that turn invisible while doing it, so you have to deactivate the reactors so you can see him to inflict damage. Keep in mind that he keeps turning back invisible every time you inflict a combo on him, so the battle could take a while. I don't see why he's considered stronger than the third though. The last one is definitely the hardest for sure. His main move is sucking you in with his invincible tornado and attacking you with his horns. After the epic battles, it turns out that Shiraku traveled to the future and was the cause of the mayhem. After explaining that destroying him would be impossible because of the time paradox and that he aims for world domination, a being called Death Mask, who is basically the god of the robots, appears out of nowhere. Deathmax explains that robots have caused the Earth to become a wasteland, and then enforces her judgment by killing all robots, including Astro Boy. Shiraku time travels so he can repeat the process of war without her interfering with his plans for world domination. That's the end. Yep, Astro dies. If you chose not to 100% complete the game, everyone dies. Kinda dark, isn't it? With all hope lost, suddenly Phoenix appears, a magical immortal being who grants Astro Boy the power to transcend time to change previous events so the incident with Deathmask doesn't happen again. Now the second part of the game takes effect, Rebirth. With your new ability, you now have the option to stage select where you can jump through any level in the game at will. This is the time where you encounter everyone you met before, giving you the opportunity to know them 100% so you can get stronger, with new faces to see as well. You can also take this opportunity to look for people you may have missed and such. Because we're now in a different timeline, you will notice different events happen during levels you played through before and witness how much Astro grew as a character. I'd have to admit that Rebirth mainly consists of you jumping from level to acquire new information, but it doesn't feel at all tedious and frustrating, unless you have no idea what you're doing. Even with Astro Boy's knowledge of the future, he still has trouble with certain events and obstacles he has to overcome. Now that Astro knows what his purpose is, he wants to achieve his destiny by helping people fulfill their hopes and rid the world of evil. So by doing that, he has to defeat Shiraku once and for all. With all of the characters who may have come off as enemies in the beginning really changed their ways with Astro. With Astro's abilities now at full power, you travel through space and defeat all of the bosses you encountered all throughout the game. You then finally face Shiraku one last time while avoiding Deathmask's wrath, but it isn't over yet. Shiraku isn't the last boss. Deathmask's true form is. The battle then causes the sun to turn blue, just waiting to cause a massive explosion. It's Astro to the rescue one last time and stop it, ending the game. Now if you remember Shiraku saying that because of the time paradox he can't be destroyed, he's right. But when he aimed to repeat the process, he comes across Wato, who seals up his third eye, mistaking it for a wound, and Shiraku suddenly isn't evil anymore. Okay, and that's the real ending. I hope you can see now why Astro Boy Omega Factor is one of my favorite games of all time. It pulls no punches on the overall messages laid all throughout the game. It teaches you many life lessons without boring you to death, while granting us amazing action, stunning graphics, superb music, and a very engaging plot. I left many things out while explaining the plot because there's just too many good things I don't want to ruin for people wanting to experience this great game themselves. The controls are responsive, and I still think the game still holds up today, despite the fact that you may experience a few frame drops here and there. Omega Factor overall takes about 6 hours to beat for the average gamer, which is the appropriate length for a GBA game like this in my opinion. With that being said, I highly recommend you to complete the game. It's worth it, believe me. So that's one game on the shelf. This is only the beginning of the many adventures we will face in the future, Digit. Even though we... Oh my god. Hey guys, and thank you for watching my first solo review. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you hadn't already. Like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter to stay updated on upcoming videos and whatnot. With that out of the way, stay tuned for my next review.